So recently I've had somebody helping me do some of the string trimming or weed whacking in the yard, and also just a little bit forward thinking in terms of machine replacement. And I ended up buying a new string trimmer right here. I've already used it, obviously, based on the grass. So previously I've done some videos on my Stihl Kombi System KM110R. It is by no means worn out. I'm not replacing it or anything. Just kind of going a little different direction. A couple weeks ago, I was thinking about, okay, I needed to do some brush cutting one afternoon, and the young man I have helping me do some of the string trimming needed a string trim. Well, I only have one Kombi head. So I was actually going to go and buy a new KM131R head for the brush cutter, since the 131 has a little bit more horsepower than the 110. The replacement for the 110 is now the current model would be the KM111, which are fantastic machines. And instead got to the dealership and got talking to the sales guy. He actually knew where I lived. And because I've seen it's the same place that I rent the excavator every year, for those of you that follow my videos. Got talking to him, and he talked me, which is actually the cheaper of all the options I was looking at. I was looking at either a KM131R, which is the Kombi System, or I was looking at just a flat FS111 or 131R. And the FS is just for the string trimmers, and the KM is the Kombi System. So I ended up with the FS94R, which is, instead of the 4-cycle, is a true 2-stroke machine. However, it is 2 pounds lighter than the Kombi heads, the larger Kombi heads. So the KM111 and the KM131, or 2 pounds lighter than the FS131 or 111. So overall, actually got out of the door for less than $400. That included some oil and a couple other small things that I needed. And I really like it so far. I haven't used it all that much. To be perfectly honest, the young man that cuts my yard, or does all the string trimming for the yard, he's used it. He really likes it, and hopefully it is a tool that we can use into the future for many years. And eventually, at some point in time, I will have to replace the KM110R. I was talking to the sales guy, and he's like, "Oh yeah, the KM110Rs, they just seem to be indestructible." So I mean, it's still a really good unit. The Kombi heads and the professional series machines. Couple comments that I have on my desire to own professional Stihl units. I've looked at several manufacturers and stuff, and I really like the Stihl products. I mostly have Stihl products. There's absolutely nothing wrong with professional Echo products or anything like that. But it is one of those things that when you have as much land that I do, or that we do, and I mean, you're talking about, weed whacking, all those trees out there and everything. I mean, you can spend, 4 to 5 hours a week just weed eating. And so, I mean, the KM110R has a significant number of hours on it. And I mean, it shows no signs of slowing. I think we've already gone through this summer. I think that is the 3rd tank of oil gas mix that we'll be going through. So, I think that's a lot of use for one location. But I'll give you an update in a couple years on the FS94R and let you know how I like it. I seem to like it so far. Like I said, the young man that does all the string trimming, he is the one using it right now. And I'm going to continue to use the KM110R to do some brush cutting and things along those lines. So, and plus, I mean, there's no reason to get rid of the Kombi heads, because we have all the other Kombi attachments. We've got the tiller, the power, the pruning saw, and the edger, and the weed eating head, the string trimmer head. We've got the brush cutter head. And so, it's still it is a worthwhile investment, you know, in terms of space saving, stuff like that. You don't have to have a individual engine for everything, but the engine does wear out faster. But just figured I would show you what I bought, and I will can't say enough nice things about the KM110R, and hopefully going into the future with the true two-stroke FS94R, I can say the same thing. But being lighter, it should be quite a bit nicer. And I'll actually walk out in the yard and I'll show you one reason why being lighter is a little bit nicer. So one of the reasons that a lighter machine is nicer is when you have little trees like this, you know, toting around a almost 10-pound weed whacker, gets tiring, and you have less control when you're tired and things along those lines. And so, you know, the last thing you want to do is damage, you know, the little tiny trunk there. I don't think this one has any damage on it. Maybe it does. But you know, we lose a couple trees every year to weed whacker damage, and I mean, it's expected. I mean, when you start talking about, I don't even know if you can see it, but all those little trees over there and all the trees out here. I mean, we've spent a lot of time planting trees in this yard, and you certainly don't want to ruin them. That one right there is dead because we transplanted it, because I think I ran over one of them last year. But anyway, but you know, you got the cedar trees right here. You know, you don't want to, I mean, these cedar trees are now, there's a couple of them that are dead. They're just kind of placeholders for next spring when we plant some new ones, and I just didn't want to lose their place. But I mean, these cedar trees they have 2 summers on them now, and so they're getting to the point where they're really starting to grow. And last thing you want to do is kill one from string trimming. And so the lighter, you know, the FS94, I think will do better compared to the KM110, just in terms of weight. You certainly can't take anything in terms of starting ability or anything like that from the KM110. But anyway, I just figured I would tell you about my purchase, and I will update you as I move forward with it. Thanks for watching.